All right. Welcome in everyone to all Eagles fans, all Philly fans. It's a lovely day to be alive here in 2021. And I'm sitting here with, of course, the co-host G Rich and a very, very special guest today, a former third round pick in 1984. His name is Big Rusty Russell. Rusty, how are you doing?
Hey man, what's going on? Hey, thank you for having me on the show today, man.
Always a pleasure.
Of course, man. We're very, very excited to have you on. Beautiful day. It seems like you're outside enjoying and loving life.
Man, let me tell you, it's beautiful down here in Orlando, man. You gotta love it.
Of course. So hey there, Rusty. I would love to just kind of get right into it here. So there's so much that we would like to just like kind of pick your brain about and just kind of take
Sure.
us back in time a little bit
Yeah.
to that first draft night of getting drafted to Philadelphia. What memories are in your head from that night?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, that whole day for me was like a whole anxiety attack. I mean, because you got coaches calling you from different teams, telling you what their draft position was, who's going to get you, who possibly can get you. And let me tell you, I was just turning 20. I was just turning 20. So for me, that was like a whole experience, man. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening here? But I loved every minute of it. And that day, I got so flustered and anxiety filled. I told my mom. I said, "Mom, can you just answer this phone for me because I'm taking off." So I actually took off and went fishing. All right,
Oh
I
wow.
took off, went fishing to the local lake, man, and let me tell you, I had a day of days. I said, I wish I could have one of those more often, but it was awesome. I caught like 5 bass and like 15 big brim. So mom had a nice little fish fry for us. But let me tell you, that was an awesome day, man. Just to be considered, you know what I mean? Just it's an honor. And because I had talked to Joe Bugle. Y'all, I don't know if you remember who he was, but he was the Washington Redskins line coach. And he said, Rusty, we got the second pick. I mean, we have the last pick in the second round. And I want to use it. I don't know about popular opinion, but he said he wanted to use it on me. And like I said, and that just added to the build up. And that just made me say, you know what? I can't stay in the house. I gotta go. I had to go. So halfway back home, my aunts and my mom, they blowing the horn and flashing the lights. Rusty, you just got drafted. I said, by who? She said, Philadelphia just grabbed you. I said, well, I'm getting on home. Let's go celebrate.
Awesome.
That was a nice time, man. Let me tell you, that was a good time, man. Great.
So who was the one that made the call to you guys? Coach?
Coach Campbell. It was Coach Campbell was the head coach then. So yeah, he called my mom and was like, "Where's my big fella?" Because after I talked to him, the other day, I told him I was gonna get him. I didn't, I don't put much stock in it. I was like, yeah, whatever. Just let me get you a team. I don't care who it was,
Right.
But I was very excited, man. Very excited.
Nice. And so I actually do want to ask. So where did the nickname Big Rusty come from? Is that something from your childhood, or is that something that came?
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to look at it like this. When I was 11 years old, I was 6 foot and 200 pounds. So that kind of went hand in hand.
Right.
That's pretty self-explanatory in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it like that, but that's how it was. Yeah.
All right. So awesome. So take me back to the game. I'm sorry. So you're drafted. You get the news from your mother, and you are a Philadelphia Eagle. So what was the training camp like? I mean, I'm sure that the roster back then must have been like,
Oh man, I tell you what, we were in Westchester, Pennsylvania, and it was like going into a soup bowl early in the morning because it was dry, it was hot, muggy, and you could see the mist coming off the field. So you were in for a hard day's work. And let me tell you, that was the single most hardest day I've had that first day, but the most uneventful day came the second day. I'm past blocking drill, and oh my goodness, left foot fractured. My
Oh, no.
fifth metatarsal decided to pop out of the side of my shoe. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Really? So that was, that
Wow.
was kind of a shocker for me. But I've been having pain, my whole senior year, and that's it. But I didn't think nothing of it because I always got treatment. I shook it off, and hell, I just I was a player. I didn't care if I was hurt. I wanted to play. That's how bad I wanted to play. And that day when that happened, I mean, that was kind of like almost the worst day, but it actually worked out for my benefit because I got extra time to work out. I got extra time to get stronger. I went from a 375 bench press to a 435. And I also started squatting 500 pounds. So that kind of worked out in my favor. And the good part back then, in those days, you could come off of an hour. So after week 6, guess what? Your boy was out there. I made great improvement according to coach. I made great improvement, and I definitely got strong as heck. So, I was ready. I was really ready. So I couldn't wait. And I was like on the active roster. I'm like, yes, finally. I can represent like I know I can.
Yeah, awesome. And so take me to that first snap on the field. That must be so surreal to finally get out there.
We were playing New England. And that was the first time I actually got to get on the field because the right tackle, the left tackle, Dean Maraldi, went down. And they were looking for me on the bench. I was already on the field. He went down. I was already out. Like, bang. They're like, oh, we didn't have to tell you. I'm like, no, I'm ready. And
that's great.
I had to go against this big guy, Killer Sims from Texas. All 6'6", 295 on him. And he's cat quick too. But, from the practices I've been doing and the lessons I learned, I studied his moves, and his first move was usually an outside in, which is he would try to fake me outside and come back inside, and I was ready for it. I took a short set, and man, let me tell you, it worked out textbook perfect because he set out, and all I did was sit straight back, and he ran right into me, bang, and we butted heads, and like, whoo! So I stopped in a second, but you know what? I loved it because I got my first NFL contact, man. I loved it.
I'll tell you what, though.
I rated out 80%, so I did pretty well.
I'll tell you what, though. Growing up, going to games, I don't think I've ever heard pads smack harder than when I've been to an NFL game.
Oh,
boy, it hit a lot harder than you think.
Yeah, man. That's the one thing. When oh my God, I had my friends. They were down there, and they were like, on the field, I had them down there on the field where they, right almost to the field where it can hit. And they're like, Rusty, I've never heard nothing like that in my life. The crack, the groans, the grunts, it's all real. I said, yeah, y'all, it's an NFL football reel, baby. You best believe it.
Wow.
You best believe it.
So how does it compare, like, especially with like the hitting, how does it compare like the culture from back in 1984 to the 80s to now? I already know it's much different, but I can only imagine.
Let me tell you what. They got these daggone. I'm gonna say like Jack Lambert used to say, you might as well put a skirt on these quarterbacks, man. I mean, you know what you sign up for. You know you're gonna get hit. So, I mean, I understand. I'm all for protecting the quarterback, but they all know, what they signed up for. They're going to get smacked, and it's your job to keep them off of them. So, today's hitting, man, I've seen some good ones, no doubt, but they're so quick to throw the flag on you now. They're like, oh, was that an illegal hit? Let me see. Did he leave with the crown? I'm all for protection. You best believe it. I mean, I hate to see somebody get hit and can't get up and walk, because I had a near experience like that when I got out there to the Raiders, and it was not pretty. Oh. It was something we did every day. We hit the blocking sled every day, and I don't know what the heck happened, but all I remember was I hit it, I went down. And I said, "Oh man, let me get my behind up," and I couldn't move my legs. Now that was scary. That was scary.
Yeah.
That was scary because what happened was my spine hit my sciatic nerve and everything just went out, bang, just like that. Like, oh my God, I thought I couldn't walk. But it took me almost a year to be able to get back to walking straight and get back on my feet. And from there, that I'll say from there was history, because after that, I was out of the NFL.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, that's okay. But you know what? I enjoyed the experience. I went on and played arena football for 8 more years. And that in itself was an experience also. So
Yeah, actually,
Yeah, I
please,
saw the accolade. I saw
Yeah.
that accolade that you had
Yeah.
over at the Arena Football League.
Mhm.
yeah, please tell me about those experiences at the AFL. I am from Orlando, so I used to be a huge fan of other Predators, used to have the season tickets and whatnot.
Right.
So tell me about that, because I was so interested about that culture.
I'll tell you what, you talking about a fun brand of football. I'll tell you what, I was there in 1991 when the franchise opened up. And that it was an experience because I'm like, 50-yard field? You gotta be kidding me. What is this? Some kind of kiddie football? Man, let me tell you, that 50-yard field feels like 100 after you've been on it for a while, okay?
Oh,
You
wow.
don't come out for 2 quarters. So you're playing offense, defense, special teams, and you're not coming off of the field. So
Wow.
you talking about I had to get in good shape. Man, let me tell you, I loved it. I mean, I learned how to pace myself. I learned how to, the little the little subtleties of that game. It's way different, from the NFL. But I learned the game. I enjoyed the game. That's why I played it 8 years. And in 1994, I got second team. I wanted first team, doggone it, but I got second team, all arena. And what people didn't know was I played the whole year on a busted ACL. I had a torn ACL. My
Wow.
left knee. Yeah, I played the whole season on a torn ACL,
Wow.
which is unheard of because
You don't
Yeah.
see that nowadays at all.
oh man, these little softies, man, are you kidding me? Man, let me tell you what, I played through finger break. I broke a finger. I mean, look at this finger.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is
I played through that. I taped it up and kept playing. So, these guys nowadays, they get a daggone hangnail. They go, oh, my face. Come on, man. Play the game.
That's funny. That's funny you say that about the finger, because the quarterback that you saw for my flag football team,
Yeah.
he broke his finger, like it was pointed to the side like that. He put it back straight. This is in the championship game in one of our tournaments. He put it back straight, taped it, and played the rest of the game.
That's what I did.
What?
I did the same thing with this one. The same thing. Oh my God! See that's when you got heart. That's when you got a player, man. If they play through something like that,
Yeah. I mean, that's not even playing. That's not even playing for the money at that point. You're just playing for like the fun of the game, Yeah, that's awesome. But so tell me, Rusty, do you have an all-time favorite memory of being on the Eagles?
Yes, I do. That was the time when we were playing the New York Giants, and I got to face up against LT. Baby.
Oh boy,
I
that
didn't know
must
what
have
I
been
was
a great time.
I mean, I was all confident. I had all my confidence, but I seen him beat players just by blinking at them. You gotta be kidding. So and I had what I call quick feetitis. I jumped offside the first time. Okay, I'm like, oh, it's Lawrence Taylor. You want it because if you don't get off the ball, he will beat you. Yeah, he would beat you real quick. So I was like, okay, I got to gather myself.
Wow.
And so Wilbert Montgomery, who was our running back, he said, Big Russ, don't worry, I got the chip block. I said, thank you, because I'm going to need it. Because when he came off of that end, I was right in front of him, and Wilbert chipped him, thank God, and I finished him off. And I was like, yes, that made my block easier. But let me tell you, when you play against royalty like that, I mean, at first it intimidates you, then you get used to it. You're like, wait a minute, I play against guys like this in practice all day.
Right.
But Lawrence is one of a kind. You don't just block Lawrence. You just hang on and hope for the best.
No, that type of speed and strength, especially at that time, like back then is insane.
Man.
Like
it is, man. When you 6'4", 270 and can run a 4.5 40, are you kidding me?
That's ridiculous.
I mean, I'm a big lineman. I did good. I ran a 4.9, but still,
you can't coach that type.
Yeah, you can't coach that kind of stuff, man. I mean, hey.
Yeah. So, is there anyone in the league today that you would compare to Lawrence Taylor?
I hadn't found him yet.
You haven't found him yet, really?
I hadn't found him yet. No, I mean the closest I saw was, bless his heart and rest his soul, was Derek Thomas. Now, if he'd have been around still, he probably would have been right up there with him. I mean, that was a phenomenal athlete. He was a phenomenal athlete. But like I said, I've seen several that come close. You know, I like J.J. Watt. Don't get me wrong, I like J.J. Watt, but he's been injury prone the last few years. You know, and it's like, okay, who do you like? I said, okay, Jadeveon Clowney, he was coming around, but he got injured. I'm like, well, we can't call him. And it's like, who do we say can come close to Lawrence? I mean, seriously, who can come close?
I mean, that type of strength and speed, I would probably. Yeah. I mean, like, probably my best comparison, but he's not really a linebacker. It'd be like an Aaron Donald type. I mean, if you look at Aaron Donald,
that's the one. That's who I was about to get back to. Oh my God, the guy from the defensive tackle position too.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast his feet move.
Man, oh my God, he's guy. Now, that's one guy. That's one guy I'd be studying for like 24/7. How do I beat him? Well, you don't. You just hope he doesn't get the jump on you and mash you into the quarterback. Because
that's what he does.
Size, speed, strength. I mean, he's got all the tangibles that you want to tackle. Oh my God, I love him as a player, man. Seriously, I love him as a player.
Oh yeah, of course. The player, he's awesome, and as a dude, he seems pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
So, Rusty, I would love to kind of mix it in with kind of present and past. So, back when you were on the team. I kind of noticed this is you were playing with two pretty prominent quarterbacks in Philadelphia history.
Oh yeah,
Randall Cunningham and Ron Jaworski.
Yeah.
So basically, my question to you is: was there any kind of QB controversy back in that kind of whole thing compared to the, let's say, Carson Wentz versus Jalen Hurts, or even Carson Wentz versus Nick Foles kind of thing? Like, was that a thing back in the day?
Well, back then, you really didn't see it as much. And Jaworski was like, I mean, he was on the downside of his career, so he didn't bitch and moan about it. And when he finally got replaced, I mean, it was just a smooth transition. I mean, Randall was a freaking athlete and a half. This guy can punt the ball too and throw bullets from 85, 90, almost 90 yards. I mean, but the one thing that Randall failed to get was a Super Bowl, and I don't think that's a fair to compare a quarterback on his greatness because he won a Super Bowl. I mean, that's icing on the cake to me. That's icing on the cake if you do. But man, let me tell you, Randall was one of the most exciting quarterbacks ever. I'll never forget we're playing the Jets in the Meadowlands, and he said, "I'm gonna set your block up, so don't worry about it." I'm like, "What?" And I found out what he was talking about. I had a defensive end. What was it? Gastineau. I was playing Gastineau, and I checked him all game long. I checked him. He was, I stuffed him on the line. I said, "Oh, this is the hype, really?" And one time he got a wide rush on me, and I wasn't ready. I didn't get off the ball in time. So what Randall did was he ran towards him and ran him back right into me. And I cleaned his clock. I said, "That's what he's talking about." Yes,
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Man, I like
too. Big body too.
Now that's
Yeah.
a quarterback that's thinking about 10 steps ahead. He's like, I got you, don't worry. So what was it? What's that like? Is there any kind of stress that goes into trying to block for a mobile quarterback like Randall was, or you don't know where he is in the pocket? You're just kind of
That. You just hit it on the head. You don't know. All you got to do is once you check your man. I mean, once you got the lock onto your man, now the thought is he coming my way? Is he coming my way? How long do I have to maintain this block? I mean, if you look at the linemen, it's kind of like if I get him for 3 or 4 seconds, I'm good. And sometimes you need longer because what we call, especially when they do a 5 to 7 step drop, you have to stay on longer because if we create a big pocket for him, then he can step up, throw the ball, and we can get a touchdown or a first down at least, Right. So that's the thing. You don't know. You can't look back and block because if you do,
they'll run right by you.
Yeah.
So
it's
just
especially at that level.
Yeah, it's always best just to handle your man.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine just having like you can have Jaws in there. He seems like a pocket quarterback. He's going to plan look for a target, and then
a lot of times he held the ball too long too.
Yeah, that's
trying to see a receiver, trying to get an open receiver. And back then, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna just be truthful. We had our line wasn't that great back when I played. We we weren't that great. I mean, we had our moments, but we weren't that great. We just
that's why they drafted you.
Yeah, so
they needed you bad,
Yeah, I was future replacement, and I got replaced anyway. So because I ended up in Los Angeles.
But hey, you ended up in Los Angeles. Can't be too bad, right?
yeah, that's true. Playing with Howie Long and all those guys, man. Wow, that was something. I love that. I loved it.
So were you heartbroken when that trade got announced that you were going to LA?
Yeah, I didn't want to leave. I I mean, but once they make, I mean, I love the fans, man. I had family up there. I had family there. I mean, I'm like, wow, I gotta go, man. I gotta go. So, it's one of those things. Come in the locker room and stuff's all cleaned out. Like, hey, what's going on?
that has to be an absolute heartbreaking moment. But I mean, like when we were at the field, you were telling me that you were still bleeding green over in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah. I had all my stuff. I hadn't quite made the transition over to being a Raider just yet, and it's like, okay, you know what? I might as well give in because this is where I am now. And I really enjoyed Al Davis because let me tell you what, man, that man is a powerhouse of football knowledge. Oh my God. I mean, I sat there and I talked to this man for like 2 hours. And he told me stuff about myself I didn't know. I'm like, wait a minute, what are you in my backyard or something? Wait a minute. How'd you know all that? But this man used to do his homework. Let me tell you, he did his homework. You best believe it.
What's an example of what did he tell you, of something that he knew?
He said, I noticed like when you get down in your left hand stance, you look a little uncomfortable. He said it's probably because you're right-handed, and I need you to work on being a left-handed player. I'm like, okay. And man, Let me tell you, yeah. He said, I also want you to get prepared to play guard. Really? So what I did was I played guard, I played tackle, and the one position I really hate was center, but I had to do that too. But the good part is the more things you're versatile at, the more attractive you become to the team, and you can become an asset. So I said, hey, I was all for it. As long as I can be here, hey, I'll do what you want.
I have to say, like, I mean, going into like that level of the game, it's like people they get so tied up in the physical aspect. Like, yes, you have to have a nice physical build, but there's a lot of knowledge that has to come with it. I mean, like some of the greats, I was watching a video on Deion Sanders, one of the best cornerbacks to ever play the game.
Yeah.
He lined up in front of, I think it was Devontae Adams or something, or one of the new age receivers. And the way they lined up, he said, "Oh, I already got you beat." then he
You
was like, "What
knew.
you mean?" Yeah, he said, "What you mean?" He was like, "See your foot pointed like that, and you're lined up like that." He's like, "I already
Yep.
know how to approach
I
you."
know
And
where
I
you're
was like,
going.
"What?"
He knew where it was going. Exactly. It's just like when I coached the lineman, I said, now look at that stance right there. Look at all that weight you got forward. It's a run. I said, take some of that weight off, lightly set your hand down, and you can still come off the ball either way. And that way, I used to use deception a lot, especially when I got into the arena game. Oh my God, they never knew without pass blocking or run. It's like because I would never put up all my weight forward when I came off the ball. I just used my legs. I knew to use my legs to come off the ball. I didn't have to show you where I was going, and it became so easy. It's like, wow, nothing to it now. Nothing to it at all.
It's easy as cake. Yeah.
Yeah,
Would you ever consider being a coach at high school level, college level, pro level?
Actually, I was coaching at Lyman High School back in 1990. Was it 99? Yeah, that was 99 going into
Really?
2000. Yeah, Lyman High School.
I am actually a alumni of Lyman High School.
Go ahead, Greyhound. All right.
Yeah, go around. See, that's actually really, really awesome that you say that.
You remember Mr. Black?
Yes, of course.
Uh-huh. That's who hired me. That's who
Oh,
hired
really?
me.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's a Gamecock, man. He's a Gamecock. He's like, hey, I want you for my staff.
Yeah. Wow, that's really awesome. That's really small world. But
kind of brought you back to your roots a little bit coming through there.
Yeah,
that's
really
pretty
did,
cool.
man. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
So, you're still in the Central Florida area, right?
Yeah, I live close by the airport now.
Okay, nice. And how long have you been in Florida for?
Oh my God, I came here in wow. Well, came here in '90 I officially moved here in '92.
Okay,
Gotcha.
So I've officially moved here in '92. So yeah, I've been here quite a while.
Is there a reason you chose Florida? Just because of the sun?
Yeah, that and the fact that I didn't want to stay in cold places anymore. I was done with that. But the fact that you can when you work out, a lot of the guys when they used to work out used to come to Florida anyway.
Right.
So I was already here. So I'm like, hey, I can take advantage of the sun right here.
It's a huge retirement spot. I wanted to ask. So you grew up in South Carolina. When you got the call that you were drafted to Philly and you had to move to Philly, what was the big what was the difference? Like, what was the big difference in culture, like being in Philly or growing up in South Carolina?
Man, that's kind of it was a culture shock kind of for me because I'd never been in a big city before. And then I was up there, and that's where I met my wife. I met my wife there. She used to work for the Philadelphia Phillies, so I was like, hey, we kept it in the family, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I could tell you the traffic and the driving was awful in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I go there, it's like bumper to bumper and
always.
Hey.
Even if you know all the back ways, you're gonna run into it, so it doesn't matter.
Hey, it's the same thing.
Uber. Let them do the driving for you.
Lots of traffic in Philly. It's almost the same thing in O-Town. I swear, it's just as bad.
Oh, you know it. Hey, you know it. Come on, I-4, really?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Done.
Yeah, it's not pretty out there. It's not. But hey, Rusty, I would love to pick your brain a little bit about the current state of the Philadelphia Eagles, since I understand you still love the Birds. As much as we do. So as you know, the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017. It wasn't that long ago, and we're all feeling pretty good. But recently, it's been a downward trend for some reason. Yeah. Now Doug Peterson's gone, and the franchise quarterback is gone. And so, Rusty, just based on that, what are your first thoughts?
Well. Okay, that's like this Eagles. That's like no Howie. let's just jump on Howie Roseman for this one because
please do.
he needs to get his SH together. You know what I mean? He needs to get it together and stop. Just stop being stingy, man. You got to pay to play. Plain and simple. Go get the players that you need. Don't just sit in here and say, well, I'm just going to have a stopgap here and a stop. No, we're trying to win. We're trying to capitalize on what we had. Okay? You already got rid of Carson Wentz. I mean, okay? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? Why? I mean, I like the guy. I like Jalen and all that, but, he's not proved nothing yet. And Carson, it's like this. If you had a nice daggone line in front of him, a good line will keep your quarterback upright and healthy, okay? And keep those hits to a minimum because that guy was getting punished. Let me tell you, he was getting punished.
Right.
So if the Eagles want to get back in the show, spend the money, get the best free agents out there, and let's get back in the game, man, because you can't sit there and say, okay, well, we're going to have a down. No, there's no such thing as having a down year. There's no such thing as, okay, we need to, rebuild. We can rebuild, but still, if you're going to rebuild to win, not just to replace a stopgap here and a little, put a bandage here. No, we don't do that. Get your line together. Kelsey needs help. I mean, he ain't like he's the biggest guy on the block, but he's a scrapper. I like him. He's a scrapper. But you need to put some guys like him around him. Okay?
Exactly. And I mean, there are some weapons on the O-line. There is Lane Johnson when he is on the field. JP bodyguard when he's getting to that age where he's maybe not as productive, but he's getting there. And there are a couple now going into their sophomore years that are supposed to be pretty good, but the thing is, they're just not on the field ever. And Lane Johnson's missing a lot of games, and Jason Kelsey was really the only guy that was out there for all 60 weeks, except for
he's the only Iron Man they had.
Brandon Brooks, he's a bad man himself, but he just can't stay on the field.
No,
I saw some trade rumors, and I'm assuming it's his health that's going to get him moved out of Philly if he does go anywhere. That would be a sad day in Philly. Nobody wants to see him go, but
no, he doesn't. He needs to stay right where he is.
He needs to stay because even when he's healthy, that man's better than what you put in there for him. Guarantee it.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
And I wanted to ask you a question as well. Regarding the QB situation. I mean, obviously Carson Wentz is gone. He's in Indy, but how do you feel about Jalen Hurts?
I like him. I like Jalen Hurts, but like I said, he hadn't done anything yet. I like him, but we'll see this year. I'll put it to you like this: his litmus test is this year. What's he going to do for us, and how and what are the Eagles going to do for him to protect him? Okay, because we can't get him. If we get him beat up, who do we have to back up? Who do we have for backup? Exactly. I was shaking my head about that too. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. I mean, we got rid of the best daggone backup ever, and I mean, I like him, but he's not a starter. If he backs people up, and then he came in and he won the Super Bowl for us. Kudos, I love it.
Nick Foles, right? Of course.
But still, when I saw him start, I'm like, this.
Yeah,
I mean, he had his years with Philly. Like when Chip Kelly was around, he brought out some good years out of Nick Foles, and I mean the whole Chip Kelly story. I mean, just not too long ago, we had Sam Bradford, Tim Tebow, and Mark Sanchez in the same quarterback room. So I mean that was a little bit of a a wow,
that had me cringing, man. Let me tell you, that had me cringing. Chip Kelly screwed up our whole team. I mean, he just screwed. Bringing in Oregon players that we didn't. Who is these guys? What have they done for us? Nothing.
That Josh Huff kid.
Yeah, I'm like, come on. And they gave him, as a college coach, they go give him that much power and authority. Get the heck out of town. No, you don't do that to a no. The only person I saw that handled it well was Andy. Now, Andy could handle that. But Chip Kelly, Oh my God, I don't even like. I love the fact that when he was getting his butt beat down at where's he at UCLA now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he still lost over there. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah,
he was
so-
doing well over there.
He's not doing great over there. You know, I'm currently living in Gainesville, and I'm a big Gators fan. And there was that rumor where he was about to go to Florida, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
like,
No, you
please,
don't need him to screwing up your program.
yeah, like that's the last thing that the Gators needed. So I'm very glad
definitely
he's over there in the Pac-12 for sure.
Yeah.
Geez, I had the next question lined up. Now I'm starting to blank. So when it comes coming back to this whole QB situation, and so we do have Jalen Hurts. We haven't seen much of it, and then we could build around him. And speaking of building around him, that does come down to the draft. I mean, so when it comes to this first round pick, there are a lot of mock drafts out there that have the Eagles getting this Mac Jones character out of BYU, or they have another North Dakota State prospect. For some reason, you're shaking your head. No, can I agree? Please no. What is the position that you think that the Eagles need to go forward at that number 6 pick?
Well, I'm partial. I pick a good offensive lineman. Plug the gaps, man. I mean, plug the gaps and then start making. Then from there, you can build on more. There's still going to be quality players left. Late round players that are very good because they're hungry. They want to show you what they can do. It's like, oh, you drafted me this late. Let me show you what I can do. And those are the kind of guys you want on your team. The guys that's going to show up and show out. Because you didn't take me this. Oh, well, guess what? I'm gonna show you what I should. I'm gonna show you why you should have taken me. And those are the kind of guys we need.
And just like Joe said, no QBs.
No
but
QBs.
I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? The with the quarterback, Jalen Hurts taking over. He I had a blank.
That's okay. Yeah, you can.
I've been waiting. I got you. I'll come back to it. But anyways, I did want to talk about back in that day you played with Mike Quick as well.
Oh yeah, Mike Quick. Yeah,
I want to hear a little bit about him as well.
Now that guy, I tell you what, man, I love Mike Quick because during the off season we had a basketball team, okay, and me, him, and a few other guys. We put on the show, okay. We always have to do the alley oops and the dunks for the people because that people didn't realize big as I was, I could get off the ground. I had a 31-inch vertical, so I can get it off the ground. So
Wow.
Yeah, I did that one in the blessed in the camp, and they're like, oh, he can get off the ground. Well, my basketball background, I played basketball in high school, and I was pretty good at it. But Mike Quick was a heck of a guy. I liked him. He had a great personality. He was a quiet guy. Once you got to know him, though, he opened right up.
Those are usually the funniest guys.
Yeah, he was. He's a jokester. He was one of the guys I played against in college when he went to NC State, and I went to South Carolina. So yeah, that was kind of a reunion because we had a couple of mutual people that we knew. And man, let me tell you, I like that. Like I said, that was one of my favorite guys. Him and Jared Robinson. Oh man, and Wilbert Montgomery, man. They just took me under their wing and showed me what you're supposed to be doing as a professional.
Who was the loudest on the field?
Well, let me see. We had several.
Several, okay.
We had several, and they were defensive players. Byron Darby. Yeah, Byron Darby. And Harvey Armstrong.
Really?
Oh yeah, Harvey Armstrong.
Okay.
Also, what was his name? I forgot. Roy. What was Roy's last name? But Roynell Young. Roynell Young. Let me tell you, he would talk you. Man, let me tell you. Once he started playing, he was in somebody's ear from start to finish. Start to finish. But the hardest
you hear from the sideline?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if you remember Wes Hopkins. Wes Hopkins.
Really? Yes.
Let me tell you, Wes passed away 2 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Man, let me tell you, that was my friend. Man, I used to love Wes. That boy could hit. Oh my God, him and Ray Ellis. I don't know if you remember Ray Ellis, but man, I saw Ray Ellis lay Tony Dorsett out. I thought Tony Dorsett died on the field that day.
Oh, no.
He hit him so
And
hard.
that was back in the day when you can hit.
Yes, because he came up on a sweep, and man, he laid Tony Dorsett out. I mean, I said, "Oh my God, he's dead!" Because the way he ragdolled him, and the ball just rolled out of his hand, and we picked it up and scored. I'm like,
That
"Oh
boy
my God."
dead.
I thought he was gone, man. But they had to
man.
come out with the smelling sauce to get him, put it up under his nose a few times to get him to. Whew, he finally came to.
He came back to life.
While we're on
Man.
that, while we're on the subject of like former teammates, I mean, did you have any personal like favorite teammates that like some really good friends of yours, especially that stuck around or
Oh yeah. Jerry
or kind of
Robinson.
like mentors?
Yeah, Jerry Robinson, the one of the biggest one because I followed him out to L.A. He was out there in L.A. too, so I went. He went. So he's like, wow, okay. So he was one of my mentors, one of my good friends and mentors, and he's always been there for me when I needed him. So he's a good friend, and I kept in touch with many guys as I could. And I found out one of my guys I used to go up against in practice, Greg Brown, he passed away last year.
Wow.
Oh man, come on, man. You lose friends, and I say, wow, it was just an honor to know them at that time, and it's got to keep it moving. Got to keep it moving, man.
Right.
You hate to see it, but that's part of life, It's like one day y'all gonna say, well, I talked to him, but he's not here anymore,
Right.
Glad to have met you both.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, hey, besides that, but yeah. So from that topic, let's bring it back here to the present a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So with all this controversy going on, whether it's GM, whether it's quarterback, there's also a brand new head coach. This kind of new name.
That surprised me. That surprised me.
Coach Nick Sirianni from Indianapolis. Exactly, right?
I don't even know who he is, man.
No one did.
Wow.
So they wanted the Carson to go to the Colts so bad, but then eventually we just brought the Colts to Carson, and then eventually shipped Carson to Indianapolis anyway. So what do you think about Coach Sirianni? Do you think he'll last in Philly?
Let me tell you, those fans, man. I'll tell you what. I'm praying. I hope and pray that he really does come through for him, because I like I said, first of all, Peterson, he went off on the wrong foot on that last game. I mean, how are you going to sit there and say, I wanted to give somebody some minutes that didn't play the whole freaking year when you got a chance to win a ball game? That right there did it for me. I'm like, dude, what was that? I mean, I'm sitting there saying, you got a great quarterback sitting down ready to roll, and he's on a roll, and you take him out? How does that not suspect?
Right.
I mean, so what about the thing?
But we could counter that point with the game didn't really matter. Like Jalen Hurts was on a roll, but what if Jalen gets hurt or stuff like that? But was it enough to fire Doug? I don't know. I mean, the guy won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, I never heard of a coach that won a Super Bowl within 3 years get fired.
Yeah.
That's like Philly for you. That's Philly for you, brother.
Yeah. Bingo. I was just going to say that.
100%. I mean, speaking on Sirianni, I mean, I don't know if it came directly at all from him, but I saw a report that they're not planning, or that it came actually from Lurie, if I remember right. He was talking about not having a QB controversy, like it would, like under him, like he's not letting it happen again. Like I saw, I don't know how 100% true that is, but I mean, it'd be kind of nice to have a QB1 and build around him a little bit rather than
Yeah, that's true.
drafting someone and bringing in talent. I mean, like I saw some nice veteran names on the market, like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He'd probably be a great mentor to throw behind him. I mean, like, I mean, there's a bunch of names out there that you can go get that aren't going to stir a lot of attention.
Right.
There is no reason to be stirring the attention after everything that we just went through.
I tell you, man. We got to put that stuff to rest, man. Oh my God, we got to put that to rest because what's his name? Sirianni.
Nick Sirianni.
Okay, no,
Sirianni.
The Sirianni.
Okay, he's Italian. Okay, still.
Always helps me remember his name. It's a nice Italian motion, but yeah. So it's looking pretty dim for Philadelphia for sure. But so are you still in touch with anyone in the franchise still, or like Jeff Fleury or anything like that?
Man, it's been so much turnover there. And everybody that I had been in touch with, they're gone. They're gone. I mean, it's like I gotta get to know these folks again.
Right.
When the former players come back, they welcome us in. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So I think I need to get up there because I had already planned to go. Like I was saying before, we talked about it. I had planned to go, and then COVID jumped in, and like, boy, I'm like, man, you want to?
I've wanted to visit that NovaCare. As I've been wanting to visit that NovaCare complex so bad ever since it's been built up.
I hadn't been yet since I used to play at Veterans Stadium, so
I wanted to get into that. I was literally going to ask you because, like, I've been to Lincoln Financial Field, but I heard the Vet was a different beast. And my dad told me back in the day when he used to go to games there, he said it was honestly a horrible stadium. He said like the structure was terrible. He was like everything was, but he's like he would never want to be anywhere else during those games. I mean, it was just like I can only imagine like the energy back in the day when you were allowed to hit and they didn't have all these crazy rules.
Exactly. Man, let me tell you, and it was the worst field in the NFL. As far as I'm concerned. One guy, I'll never forget it, we were playing Chicago. And in one play, one guy busted both of his ACLs on that field. Both ACLs. I forgot his name. He was a receiver. But I can look that up and find out who it was. But, man, that field was awful for injuries. Let me tell you. It was terrible.
Oh,
They had dips and dunks in it. Like, because, when you play on a field that's a baseball field, too, you have all kind of problems.
Oh yeah, that's why they had to split the Raiders. The Raiders were one of the long-lasting teams that were still doing it too. It's crazy.
Yeah,
a big reason of why
until the black hole was finished. Let me tell you.
So you dealt with that on two different teams basically. That's crazy.
Wow.
Yes, indeed.
Wow. So if you had to compare, would you rather attend a game at Veterans Stadium or attend a game at the Link?
The Link.
Definitely.
Yeah. I've seen it, state of the art, man. I mean, because let me tell you, I came into the Vet and it was already on its way down. Okay. And it took them long enough to finally get a new stadium, but I'm glad they got it. Because now they got something they can be proud of, and I would be proud to be in that stadium. Yes, sir.
It is undeniably beautiful. I mean, I was there for the first time like 5 years ago, and I was like,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm 24, and I've been an Eagles fan for a lot of my life. But just being in that stadium at 18 years old, I was like, I'm finally freaking here instead of seeing it on TV. It was so surreal, and like instead of playing it on Madden and stuff like that, and like it was so awesome to like finally be in that structure that is Lincoln Financial Field. It's so awesome.
Yeah. I can't wait to get there. I'm hoping to get there again after all this COVID stuff.
of that, actually, how's this past year been treating you? Have you been locked inside like the rest of us? I see that you play football.
Not me. I get out every day. Let me tell you, I get out every day. I go to Lake Underhill, and I walk Lake Underhill because let's see, 2 times around is like 2.94 miles. So I do three times around, and I'm good. I get fresh air, I get sunshine. I keep my immune system up. I eat the correct foods that I'm supposed to, just to keep my immune system going, and just doing healthy stuff, like I've been supposed to been doing, just doing a lot of healthy stuff. And when it's time for me to get a COVID shot, I guess I'm gonna have to get it. I don't know. They might require it for you to travel. You never know.
Yeah, I guess so. Get the microchip in you.
Yeah. See, you thinking like me now. So that's one thing I've been thinking about. Like, wait a minute. What if
see when people ask me about it, I sit back and I'm like, I have nothing against. I mean, because personally, I haven't had any traumatic like situations that have occurred with COVID, but there's a lot of people that lost loved ones, and I understand that. And I'm not here to ever overstep anybody. And it's like, everyone go ahead, do as you please. But when people ask me, I tell them I'm waiting. I mean,
me too.
Patiently waiting. I'm not in a big rush to run.
I want to see how it affects everybody else. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Rusty, I wanted to ask. It came back. I was gonna ask you more about the rivalry with the Dallas Cowboys. How was that back in the day? Because I know our Birds. We hate them boys.
Yeah.
Just tell us all. Just tell us every detail.
We had a guy on our team. Look him up. His name was Jody Schultz, and he was outside linebacker. Let me tell you, they called him a body snatcher for a reason. Let me tell you.
Okay.
He would take bodies on the Cowboys every game. I don't know what it was, but anytime we played the Cowboys, he was at his peak, and he would just go wreak havoc. It was awesome. I loved it. Him and Greg Brown and Bigfoot Harrison. Oh, they would just go off against those boys. Even when we lost the close games, it was just good to see the fights and the action. So I sat them out. I'm like, well, I didn't get to play, but still, I'm on that field and looking at that rivalry, like, oh my God, this is what I'm here for. This is what I wanted. Yes, indeed.
Tell me about that atmosphere, that stadium, and being on that field.
Man, let me tell you, it's like you get a charge of electricity once you get out there, man. Honest to God, it's like, wow. I remember getting that feeling when I first went to college, when I played my first college game. I mean, you're talking about people are so loud and the crowd just egging you on, and it's like the feeling makes the hair on the back of your neck pulp just stand up, and you're like, you're just ready and pumping juice to go. You just couldn't wait to get out there to hit somebody. I know I couldn't. I want to kick out somebody.
So, excuse me, I actually meant being on the field in the atmosphere in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And like tell me just like about the fans and just like running out that tunnel and just getting showered and
something just tells me though, like back in the day, like there were a lot less guidelines and rules and just so many things
we had things
open
thrown
to,
at
like.
us.
So that's what I'm saying. Like there was a lot more that you got away with back then. So like, and I know how nasty that rivalry was, and still is. It's
you got
people aren't getting cuffed now.
Peanuts, popcorn. You got everything thrown at you. So you're like, what the? Really? You gotta love it though. You gotta love it. I loved it, man. I'm like, yeah, that means we're doing our job by being the bad guy.
There you go.
Yes, indeed.
It's like the one good time to be the bad guy. You're like, give me all the booze. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, super glad to hear you're nice and healthy and you're staying active during this awful pandemic that's going on and haunting all of us. And but let's see, G Rich, you have any more questions to pick his brain at?
Throwing it out there.
Fire away.
but yeah, but I will say that what we think about it, that Rusty, it is awesome that you're on the show to talk with us and tell us all these awesome stories, because we're such big fans and we're so wide eyed and so it's always so awesome. But so I guess tell me a little bit about toward the end of that Raiders stint, and a little bit about the transition going into the AFL.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you left the NFL? I mean,
there was the big reason was that injury that occurred that made me sit out for almost a whole year. I missed almost a whole year of football, and I had to take another 8 months to rehab myself, and then I found myself out of the NFL on the outside looking in, and it wasn't pretty, but you have to accept the fact that, hey, it's a business first, okay? Players second. We're pieces of meat that can be replaced. And that's what set me on my way to the AFL when that happened. So it wasn't a bad thing for me, you know what I mean? Because of the fact was, I actually when I was actually home in '89, and I drove trucks for Pepsi Cola in '89. So I did that. I stayed in the gym. I worked out because I just in the back of my mind, I'm saying I'm not done yet. I knew I wasn't done yet. In my heart, I knew I wasn't done yet. So when that opportunity came for me to go to Orlando, I took advantage of it. And the coach told me, he said, I just want to work you out a little bit. I said, wait a minute. I said, Coach, I've been in the NFL. What do you mean I have to work out? Really? But I did. I did. When you've been there, you think, you don't have to work out no more, but that's not true. Even veterans had to do it. So, I had to look at it different because I'm no different from nobody else. I'm just like, okay, I'll do it. And I went down there, and they like my speed, my lateral movement, blah blah blah. All the good stuff I still had, thanks to me rehabbing myself, and it was another opportunity for me to show what I got. Like I said, 8 years later, it was time to go. And then you got
the second team All Arena. That must have been a whole accomplishment. So yeah, and that was on the torn ACL too.
Yeah,
that's wow. Love it.
It's very sitting back though, like afterwards, like watching the NFL. I mean, how's the point of view knowing like you were there and it was just like watching the difference of how it is now? I mean, just like. It has to be a wild experience. Like not everyone gets to know what it's like from the inside.
Mm-hmm. Not at all, because let me tell you that like I said, that's an honor. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to to play in the NFL, especially when a team says, okay, I'm gonna draft you at this position, and they're gonna pay you. You're getting paid to do something that you love. There's nothing like it. I mean, how many jobs can you go to and say, well, I get paid to knock somebody in their mouth? Every Sunday, I get a check in my daggone locker every Sunday. Are you kidding me? The best job
ever. I can only imagine.
Man. I'll tell you.
But sweet. But hey, we're actually heading towards our hour mark. Thank you so much again for letting us borrow this hour of your time. It has been such an absolutely great time. I love to pick your brain about the monstrosity that is the Eagles franchise right now, and just really getting some history of some past generations of Eagles teams that I didn't get to experience because I was not even close to a thought at that time.
Not even exactly.
Yeah. So yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think I can definitely speak for G Rich over here that we're very thankful and yeah, so thanks to the audience for listening in to the podcast, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, or on the audio on Anchor.fm. Rusty, hopefully we could have you as a guest again, maybe during the season.
You guys, anytime, G Rich, my man Jesse. Hey, love you guys, man. Y'all take care and keep doing what you do. I'm proud of your work, and just keep the audiences coming, man. It's
been an absolute honor to have you on. And running in, like when my mom came over to me and she was like, he played for the Eagles. I was like,
yeah.
You don't say.
I said, excuse me. She's like, I told them all about you already. And I was like, really?
Yep, sure did. He said, "That's my son, right there, number 14." Okay, all right.
I'm sure.
Love it.
Hey, and it'll be a pleasure. You said, were you just coming out for a one occasion, or are you going to be on that?
No,
field a couple
I'm
times?
gonna come out and see some of the games. You know,
I'm looking forward to seeing you out there again.
Oh yeah, you'll
That's
see.
awesome.
You'll see. You know, I got my grandsons out there, so I'm gonna see what they can do.
Nice.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I will try to make my way to O-Town for one of these games because I'm actually pretty jealous up here in Gainesville.
Long way from Gainesville, baby.
It's a long 2 hours. I know. It's a long 2 hours.
Hey man, it's usually an afternoon game. I'll shoot you the address and times, and it's usually it's usually Sundays though. You're usually doing your tennis.
Yep,
It has to be one of the times that you might be able to get some time off. That's the thing.
Doing my darn
But-
sports. Doing my darn sports writing.
Hey man, you're going up with that. Keep
Yeah.
going. Keep going.
Appreciate it. But I appreciate it, guys. But alrighty. So with that being said, we will conclude the broadcast. Thank you to all the audience in the comments for tuning in. Any of those, and yeah, you guys have a good night. This has been the Eagles Plus Show. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And Rusty, thank you so much again. It's been an absolute.
That's what we do, baby. Oh.
Boom.